Hi, everyone. I hope you're all practicing safe distancing. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something similar. Uh, I'm going to call it mental distancing. And just as you're keeping your distance, or hopefully you are keeping your distance from other people who might possibly be infected with the coronavirus, or perhaps you may or may not be infected with the coronavirus, but you're wearing a mask and keeping your distance because you just never know. It's a safe practice. Hopefully it won't go on for very long. And the idea is designed to keep you from being infected from a virus that has a detrimental effect on these biological units of ours. But I didn't really want to talk about the coronavirus and social distancing. Like I said, I want to talk about something I call mental distancing. What is mental distancing? And what are we distancing ourselves from? Most of us, I would imagine all of us, have a stream of dialogue going on in our heads constantly. We're thinking about the past, we're thinking about the future, we're getting anxious about things we might have done, could have done, should have done, things we ought to do, gotta do. Um, and then there's the random thoughts that just kind of come up and bubble up and go away, and you don't even know where they're coming from. Right? But a lot of those thoughts are thoughts about who we are. They're our identification with a me, our roles, our beliefs, our ideas, and they drive our behavior. But we are not our thoughts. All spiritual practices, at their core, involved investigating what it is we really are. And one of the very first steps in that investigation is to investigate our own minds. As we do, we come to see that thoughts arise and they fall away. And they arise and they fall away. And they arise and they fall away. And whether it's facilitated or not, when one clearly engages in this type of investigation through meditation or mindfulness training or some other technique, we come to see that we come to create a distance between our thoughts and what it is that's observing the thoughts. It's like, wait a minute. If I could see thoughts arise in much the same way that I hear a bird singing in the background, then what I am must not be those thoughts, or at least not limited to those thoughts. Because what is it? What is it that's observing? What is it that's aware of those thoughts? And you could ask the same question with anything in this world. What is it that's hearing this? What is it that's seeing this? What is it that has a sense of friction and temperature? What's observing what's coming in through our senses? What is observing that which we think of as vision, or hearing, or tasting, or smelling, or touching? What is that? What's observing that? And when we really start to investigate it and see, well, when we really start to investigate it, it starts to become clear to us that, again, we are not that which is arising. And I'm not as technically truthful here as I can be. I hope to come back to that. Point is, when it comes to our thoughts, most of us think we are those thoughts. Most of us identify with those thoughts. And my point here is that those thoughts are a virus. It's like a virus. It's a virus that just won't go away. And so spiritual awakening, spiritual practice is about practicing mental distancing. It's about practicing recognizing. It's about practicing separating that which is observing, let's call it your true nature, from that which is arising. And in this case, I'm really referring to thoughts, but it applies to everything else as well. You see, suffering, pain, stress, anxiety, worry, hate, they all occur because we believe the shit that's going round and round and round and round in our heads. Buddha, in the first noble truth of Buddhism, is life is suffering. And the reason we suffer is because we are attached to what we think. We identify with the ideas about who we are. And so mental distancing is a way of creating, in a way, a false separation, but it's a separation. It's a stepping back from what's going on in our heads. Many people, like myself, it's verbal thoughts, words, language. Sometimes it's visual thoughts. Images come to mind. Sometimes could be auditory, like even hearing a tune, like a tune playing on in your head. So practice mental distancing. In fact, the fact that most of us tend to be somewhat practicing social distancing gives us a really good opportunity to kind of allow ourselves to relax and practice mental distancing, to just watch what's going on. It's very interesting when you really look at it, right? There's a lot of different types of thoughts that are taking place. There's the stuff that we think is really us thinking about something, like what I have to do later today, or what I'm going to do later today, or tomorrow, or next week. Planning types of behaviors. Or sometimes we're thinking about a conversation that we had, or we're thinking about a conversation that we might have had. And all those types of thoughts are all coalescing around this idea that there's a me somewhere in there who owns those thoughts. And then there are the other kinds of thoughts that just random thoughts. I mean, I sometimes wonder, I observe my thoughts all the time, and sometimes it's like, where did that come from? I mean, think about it. Sometimes you hear a voice in your head, you see something, an image, a flash, you hear something, and it's like, what? And we tend to dismiss those because it's like, well, where did that come from? That's not me. But that assumes that some thoughts are you and other thoughts are not you. What I'm saying is, neither are you. Technically, not quite 100% correct. I'll hopefully close on that point. So practice mental distancing. Practice observing what's going on. The more you practice social distancing, the easier it gets to kind of keep that sort of objective distance between what it is that's going on inside your head. And I say inside your head, we don't know where it's going. Where is it going on? Where are those thoughts? I can't go in there and say, oh, there it is. It's about 2 inches down there and maybe a couple inches this way. And, if I were to get some calipers and some surgical instruments, I could find that thought. Scientists have looked for thoughts for quite a long time, and they have not been able to find the thoughts. Where are those thoughts? Even better, what's observing those thoughts? What's observing the thought? Now, some words have been used for that. One very popular word in non-duality circles is that of the witness. There's a witness to thoughts. In fact, you can say that there's a witness to everything. There's sort of a witness back here observing this video being produced, this video unfolding. This speaking is occurring on its own, and yet there's a witnessing of the speaking. There's a witnessing of this room. I look out my windows. I witness the trees outside and the clouds in the sky. I hear birds. There's a witness to the birds. So there is a separation between what is being observed and the observer. Now this is dualistic, I admit. Like I said, I'm not technically correct, 100% correct here. But this is a really key first step. A very important first step. Because most of us don't even make the separation of what's observed and versus the observer, because there's an identification with what's observed. And it's very interesting because it's very clear that we might, if I asked you, is this you? You would say no. It's a pair of glasses. So on the one hand, the stuff that comes in through our eyes and our ears and our senses, other senses, we do not identify with that. I might say these are my pair of glasses, but I do not think that these glasses are me. Likewise, a coffee mug. That's not me. The coffee. That's not me. And we do that. Everything that seems to be perceived that is supposedly out there is not me, whereas everything that's perceived as supposedly in here must be me. Especially my thoughts and the feelings. Feelings and thoughts go hand in hand. So I'm really kind of talking about the same thing. I'm talking about thoughts, but anxiety and worry, fear, constriction, biological constriction, all occurs because of the thoughts in our head. So it's really interesting that that's not me, but this is me. The point is that's where we most start from. How we got there is a video for another time. That's you, that's me. That's separate from me. You're separate from me. That is separate from me because me, I know me, this is me. Well, that's what I'm asking you to investigate. What is this me? What is this what is this that appears to be observing through their eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and in Buddhist literature, the other senses, mind. Now these things we think of as other, but mind, it's me. And so the first real step and breakthrough is to see, oh, that's not me. Just like everything else, just thoughts arising. Now you could start. That's mental distancing. Practice mental distancing. Observe your thoughts. Watch your thoughts. Don't follow the thoughts. Don't investigate the thoughts. Now, you might get caught up in following the thoughts. I still do all the time. In fact, I notice that I'm inside the train of thought. I say I'm inside because it still comes out to who's this I that we're talking about. But it appears that something has gotten caught up in the mind stream, in the train of thought. Most of us live that way. We don't ever recognize, A, that we're not that, and B, to notice when that happens versus when it doesn't happen. Because as soon as you notice it, you're in that witness state. And now once you're in the witness state, you can investigate that witness state. What does it feel like? I could ask some questions. Can you find boundaries or edges to the witness state? Can you find a center to the witness state? How big is the witness state? What color is the witness state? Really look. What does it feel like? You could also notice that all those things that we perceive as being outside of themselves are arising, appear to be arising within that witness state. I sometimes call it open spacious awareness. Others have called it that as well. It's like I hear a bird now. With my eyes open, I can point at bird. There's a bird on a tree over there. Eyes closed, it's like, where is that sound arising? It's arising within this open spacious awareness. Tactile sensations arising in open spacious awareness. Smells, tastes, touch, all arise in open spacious awareness. So does vision. Now, vision's more difficult because vision is 360. It's like we're immersed in virtual reality. But where is it arising? Within this open spacious awareness. And noticing that it's happening that way is sort of a function of the witness state. And so it's from the perspective of the witness that one can practice mental distancing. This is key. This is key. This is key to awakening, to enlightenment, to alleviating suffering, to see that what you are is more than what you think you are. It's more than what you identify with. But what is that? This is where it really gets interesting because you can't define. We usually open spacious awareness. It's a set of words. What does that mean? Witness. What does that mean? Can you find the witness? Can you find this open spacious awareness? Excuse me one second. I have a meeting coming up, so I have to wrap this up pretty soon. Really investigate This is what my meditation is so powerful, because if you really sit and investigate, hopefully you'll see clearly, A, you're not all that, and B, that what you are is more than that. It's infinite, it's boundless, it's indescribable, and yet it contains everything. And yet, the more you look, the more you can't find what that is. Some have said it's the nothingness that contains everything. It's the nothing that contains everything. Others have it's divine nature, true nature, the absolute. Practice mental distancing. Now, in just a couple minutes that I have left before I have to go off to this other meeting, you can continue that investigation, because what you might learn is the witness itself is a thought. This is the I. This is a sense of, not of me, but of I, capital I, mental I, the witness. Ultimately, even the witness falls away. There's witnessing. What's happening? There's witnessing. There's experiencing. We're a verb. And suddenly it collapses. This is what's really fascinating. It collapses onto itself. You collapse onto yourself, but there's no self. The self that's no self is everything that is perceived. Stop there. Everything that's being perceived. Perception and awareness, object, subject, object, witness, witnessed, collapse. And what's left? What's left? Just this. What you are is all of this. And see, now we kind of circle back, because what is that? It's what we see, it's what we hear. And I say we, it's hearing, it's seeing, it's tasting, it's touching, it's smelling, it's thinking, it's feeling, it's emoting, it's imagination. The key is we drop the identification with that, and we just rest in what's in that which is. And from this place of that which is what we are, no matter what transpires or unfolds, it's okay. This is where equanimity comes from. Everything's okay. You, that which is everything but cannot be found, cannot be touched, cannot be harmed. This body might fall victim to the coronavirus, but that's just part of the experience unfolding within this great open nothingness that we are. So I urge you, practice mental distancing. Really. Practice mental distancing. Sit, meditate. reach out to people who are who have realized this. Could be me, could be others. Lots of sources. But don't make the mistake of grasping at any one thing and holding on to it as something that there's a me doing. Oh, I need to meditate. I am going to meditate. That's just another thought that's arising within spacious awareness. I better check the time here. Yeah, I gotta go. Practice mental distancing. Please. Thank you.